is that I was a very real sugar addict, and I never realized how much of a sugar addict I really was until yesterday. Hi everyone, it's Katerina again, and I am here to actually do my 4-week update with my measurements, my weight, those stats. But also, if you've watched one of these from me before, then I also like to just kind of talk about how the week has been for me. A lot of people, they don't know what to expect. I know I didn't know what to expect. Or things that could happen, and I've gotten a lot of comments on my videos where they say that it is nice that I talk about these things so that maybe people can kind of see what might possibly be in store for them. So I will be going over my stats here in a couple minutes. Again, at the end of the video, I will be showing where I'm wearing my sports bra and my biker shorts. So if that isn't something that you want to see, then you'll want to fast forward past that portion. But I will definitely let you know when it is there. Now, this week hasn't really been that bad for me when it comes to side effects. The diarrhea that I was having has significantly gone away. I do still have some, but I wouldn't say that it was as much as it was. I actually checked my ketones. I don't do that very often. I was chasing them in the first couple days, and or maybe it was the first week or so, and they were first off starting very low, and then I never seemed to get out of the ones, and I figured that didn't matter because I was losing weight, so it was fine. But now, every time I test them, because I did it more than once at different times of day, they've been about 2.2, 2.3, just about every time I test. So that means that my body is getting more efficient at doing what it's supposed to be doing, I guess. What I did want to talk about this week, though, was the other aspects of this whole situation. I already deal with anxiety and depression. I have touched on that before. Some of it is situational. I have mentioned, and probably you'll hear me mention again because it does affect me a great deal, that my mom had actually passed away. Sorry, let me fix this. My mom had actually passed away a few months ago, and I still am reeling from that a lot. But also, I just suffer from it in general. Also, I am perimenopausal, so I think I just have hormone issues as it is. My hormones are definitely not balanced out, and I'm sorry, I struggle really bad with that. One of the other problems that I have, or that I've been dealing with, is that I was a very real sugar addict, and I never realized how much of a sugar addict I really was until yesterday. So I had actually done all of my measurements and everything on Tuesday, just as I always do, but I recorded the video to go with it, but I wasn't able to get it posted because this week, yesterday, was the first day back to school for the boys, and I was really busy with that, and I actually had a really big job interview, fingers crossed, that I was concentrating on, so I was pretty busy, and it actually turned out that something happened yesterday, and I wanted to talk about it today. So yesterday, as I said, was the kids' first day of school, and I had to pick them up after I got off of work. No problem there, but they don't get off until 4:15. They have a different type of schedule this year, so they're going to school much longer in the daytime. And so I was sitting in line for a ridiculous amount of time to get these kiddos, and by the time we got home, it was after 5, and then my husband was getting home shortly after that, and we actually needed to go over to Target to pick up a few more things for them for school because we hadn't got enough stuff yet, and we also weren't sure on some things if they were going to actually need them or not. So we went over to Target, and we're already tired from the day, it was a busy day as it was, and we did what we needed to do there, and then both the boys decided that they wanted to start packing their lunches instead of using school lunch, so we thought, well, let's go to Sam's Club. That's the best place to get snacks. It'll be great. It's no problem. We go to Sam's Club all the time. And we did, and we got the kids, a bunch of stuff that they needed for lunch, but something happened in Sam's Club, and I'm embarrassed about it, but it's reality, and I think that needs to be put out there just in case somebody else may be in the same boat. I firmly believed that while I didn't necessarily kick my sugar addiction completely in the bud, I haven't been craving sugar or wanting anything related to or even remotely sugary this whole last week. Not at all. Never even crossed my mind. As we started going through Sam's Club and we got over into that aisle, and I know you know what section I'm talking about, where all the bulk candy is and all the goodies, we got there and we started walking through there. And at first I was okay. I was like, okay, well, I kept seeing things that I really loved or used to like to eat, and I was like, oh, I really like that, or I really like that, or I wish I could have that. And I said it a few times. I'm like, oh my God, I miss this. But then we got into the aisle where all of the chocolate was. And I don't know if my nose was like a superpower or something, but I could smell the chocolate. I could smell the sweets. Very strong, very almost overwhelming. And I kept telling my husband, oh my gosh, this is so hard for me. I smell this chocolate and I want it so bad. And I know he didn't understand because he is not addicted to sugar. And I never thought that I was to this extent. As we were going through looking at stuff and I was seeing all of my favorite Halloween candy that's coming out, and Reese's peanut butter cups and the little ghosts and pumpkins, and I was smelling it and my mouth was like watering, and I just kept telling my husband, we need to get out of here because I'm feeling really overwhelmed, like very overwhelmed. I desperately want, oh, it was so bad. I desperately want this candy. I want these things or those things, or I want that, or this brownie brittle, or I would just like see all these things, and it was actually getting to me. And I'm embarrassed to say that. This is food. This is candy. This is something stupid that I never even thought that I even cared that much about. And my husband was like, why are you getting so upset? It's just food. Just ignore it. And I'm like, I can't ignore it. I don't know what's going on. It was bad. It was really, really bad. And we finally left. I'm embarrassed to talk about it because who has an anxiety attack over candy and being in that kind of area? It wasn't like I was tasting it or anything, but smell being so powerful. And so at this point, I'm really frustrated. I'm really upset. It's late. I don't even want to go home and cook. I'm mad. So we decide to run through McDonald's. I know you can come at me if you want to, but McDonald's beef patties are 100% beef with salt and pepper. I have ordered one time before from there, and they did a great job getting it exactly the way I wanted. So we ordered 2 beef patties with some cheese, a side of bacon, and an unsweet tea. And then everybody else got what they wanted. We get home, didn't look in the bag beforehand, get home, and they literally just put it on a bun, smothered it in ketchup and mustard, and it was so much so, and I was having such a hard time already with the sweets that I was afraid that if I even ate that sweet ketchup, if there was even just a little bit on there, that I was just gonna reel. So I just told my husband, forget it. I just can't eat this. Even just scraping it off, I know I was being a little bit over dramatic, and I probably could have just scraped it off or done something. But at this point in time, I was just so overwhelmed with the day. So I went about to cooking myself a ribeye steak, which was taking way too long, and the longer I waited, the more angry I was. So I grabbed my iced tea and I jammed my straw in there all dramatic like, and I took a huge swig of it because I was thirsty. And it was sweet tea. I'm literally trying to avoid all of this sugar. I'm having this meltdown almost in Sam's Club, and here I just gulp this big amount of sugary tea. It was just the end for me for the night. I was so angry. But the reason why I'm telling you this story is just wondering if anybody else has ever had just like intense sugar or carb or any kind of craving where you think you're fine, and then you get faced with it, and then suddenly you're not fine. Suddenly it's the end of the world. And that's embarrassing to me. And putting it out here for the whole world to know also is embarrassing, but it happened and it's real life. And my whole point of doing this whole channel is real life. So that was my big thing that happened this week. Everything else was basically quite good. I'm not having the leg cramps anymore or any of the other issues. I did have really bad heartburn one night. I do believe it is because I ate so late at night and then went to bed with a very full stomach. I do know, and I have considered getting the ox bile, or there's something, I can't remember what the other supplement is. I'll put it on here, to increase your stomach acid to help with digestion, but it says right on the bottles not to take it if you're already taking an antacid type medicine, and I take Pepcid for symptoms of painful bladder, Pepcid and Claritin together. So I don't even know if I can take it. So if anybody has experience with that, I would absolutely love to hear that too. I know, unless you're a doctor, you can't really say for sure, but I don't know. I have the medicine, I just haven't taken it because I take Pepcid. So anyways, we'll go ahead and get to the part where you're actually here for, and that is the measurements and the weight loss. So I think I mentioned probably more than once, I did start documenting my journey on the 18th of July, so it has been 4 weeks now. If you listened to any of my other videos, you know that I was doing some rough keto or that type a little before that, and was noticing already a downward spiral on my weight, which is when I decided to start documenting it. So I originally started out at 235, but when I started documenting in July, I was at 220. So on July 18th, I was 220 pounds. Last week, I weighed 217.2, and on Tuesday, or this week's measurements, I weighed 215. I've actually fluctuated up and down a little. I was even 214 one day, but trying not to constantly measure myself, so I'm just going with the measurement that happened the day that we measured and weighed and measured. My neck has stayed the same at 15 every single week, and nothing has changed. My chest was 46 when I first started. It was 43.25 last week, and it's 43 this week. My biceps were 15.5 when I first started. Last week they were 15, and today they are 14.5. My waist, you'll see in the video that I'm going to show, we struggle on my waist because we can get huge differences in numbers every single time because we're obviously measuring in the wrong spot. We have no idea what we're doing, so bear with us on this. 38.75 is where I started, and I was at 37.25 this time. 38.25 was my measurements last week, so confusing a little. My hips were 50 when I first started and 47 last week. They were 46 3/4 this week. My thighs were 28.5 when I first started. They were 26 last week and 24.5 this week. My calves, just like my neck, are completely staying the same at 15. So when I first started, back on the 18th of July, I was 48.7% body fat. I was 48.2 last week and 47.7 this week. I will go ahead and show you the picture from the 18th. I'll show you the picture from the 1st of August, and then I'll show you this week's picture, and then just some, showing where we're measuring. So, and if anybody watches that, it is sped up a little bit, but I would absolutely love it if you could tell me if we're even measuring in the right places, because we have a lot of differences when we get to the waist. So maybe these aren't even right. But anyways, that is my week 4 results. It's going swimmingly. It is seeming to slow down, and that part I hate, but that's just how it's going to be. well, there you go. You saw all that fun stuff there. Again, I just want to thank you for tuning in, watching my video, all of your comments. I'm absolutely appreciating and loving all of those. The support has been wonderful. If you have anything that you think might help me on any of this, please let me know. And I am sorry if you hear my cat always when I start this. They're never around until I start something. Well, if any of this at all speaks to you in any way, if you're interested in seeing how this goes, or you want to share your journey with somebody who's doing the same thing in the beginning, then I encourage you to please subscribe to my channel. I am just starting out. I know that my videos aren't spectacular. I am hoping that they get better, but this is real life, and this is me showing my life to you and hoping that somebody out there will cheer me on, because I desperately need that, and I want to cheer you on too. So if you want to subscribe, I would absolutely love that. Please comment. Please give me your suggestions. And until next time, I hope you have a great rest of the day.